Finally returned, and I'm not even going to go through all the whole where have I been or what have you. It doesn't matter. I've been busy. But finally, let's get into the Galaxy S8 and a comparison to the LG V10 in this video as well. But mostly, let's just talk about this phone. All right, let's get into the looks of the phone to start off with. Okay, so on the front is glass, super AMOLED screen, very bright, very vivid screen. I love it a whole lot. I actually like it a little better than the LG V10 screen, which that we'll talk about in just a second. On the back, you have your also more glass. You have your flat camera and fingerprint reader. Because the camera is flat, yes, that makes it a little bit harder to distinguish between the fingerprint reader and the camera. I got used to it pretty quickly though. In about a couple weeks, you'll get used to it. It's nowhere near as big a deal as people made it out to be. On the sides, you have your volume and Bixby button. We'll get into that too. And on the other side, you have your power button. Overall, it's just a very slick design. Rounded edges, feels really nice in the hand. On the bottom, you have your charging port and USB-C and speaker. Would I get an actual case for this phone? Well, I did. I got the Tech 21 case from T-Mobile, expensive as crap, and the edges on the bottom actually was pretty uncomfortable, but it does do its job. It's a pretty good case. I did get a screen protector, and the screen protector didn't even make it to this video. The screen protector was done within a couple weeks as usual. That's why I don't like screen protectors, but even more so for this phone with curved edges, screen protectors are a nightmare. And yes, I've heard a lot of talk about how the glass screen protectors are even worse when it comes to curved edges, but I cannot actually tell that right now because I haven't actually used any of those. I just wasn't willing to pay for that. I hate cases and protectors as it is enough. But just to let you guys know, cases are fine. Screen protectors, you can give it a try. I don't know if it'll work out that fine for you. I might give a screen protector another try again because the fact that the screen on this phone takes up pretty much the full body of this phone, you kind of want to be a little bit more careful when dealing with it. All right, and on a kind of an unusual thing, usually I would start talking about software or something, but actually, let's talk about the camera right now. The camera on the back is a 12 megapixel dual rear, 12 mega, try to get this right, 12 megapixel dual pixel rear camera. It produces very nice pictures. I'll show you some of those pictures in the video. Okay, so here I am in the park, and this is how we're gonna kick off our review of the Samsung Galaxy S8. Wow, I don't have a mic. I came so freaking prepared for this. Okay, and here's how the front-facing camera looks and sounds on the Samsung Galaxy S8. My face looks a little weird in the front-facing camera, but yeah, we'll see. It also looks like the audio may not be perfectly synced as well. Well, you guys let me know. This is a front-facing camera out here in broad daylight, and yes, it is capable of 4K as well, and that's what I'm recording in. Without stabilization in 4K, with stabilization on. Very nice video as well. It also does 4K. However, just like my LG V10, you're gonna have a bit of issue shooting 4K because it does heat up after a pretty short time. Yeah, you still have to deal with that. And also, I had some autofocusing issues when I'm trying to actually shoot myself an actual video. This is the third time I'm actually shooting a Samsung S8 review, and this one is actually going to go out. The first one, I actually shot it completely on this phone, but because of the focusing and how much time it took for me to actually work with the phone to do that, yeah, that video is never going to see the light of day. But other than that, this camera is actually very good. I really do like it. Front-facing camera, wasn't really all that impressed with, but it is decent, definitely better than most, so I can't really complain there as well. The software in the camera is also good. You have your manual controls. If you swipe over, you'll see you have your Pro mode where you can choose between all your different usual controls, just like a DSLR, but as you already know it's a phone, it's not a DSLR, so kind of hold back your expectations a little bit. However, at the same time, if you know what you're doing and if you're patient enough, you can definitely produce some very good photos, very good videos, 4K, whatever, right out of this phone. All right, now let's talk about the software. All right, so there's more than a few things to say about the software that comes with the Samsung S8. First off, we're running Android 7.0 Nougat. 7.1 is not yet on this phone, which is kind of surprising considering that Samsung has been, or Samsung and T-Mobile, has been keeping up on security patches pretty nicely. I've already received at least 3 or 4 updates already for security patches and fixes and stuff like that, but none of them has been 7.1 as of yet. And 7.1 has been out for a little while. However, this is the problem when you're buying phones via a carrier, or when you're just buying any phone that's not a Google phone. It's going to be slow for updates, and that's pretty much what we're seeing here as far as major updates go. 7.1 to me will be like a major update. However, I can't complain about the fact that Samsung has been keeping up on updates for the phone. Now, as far as the software itself is concerned, I'm actually pretty happy with it. Usually by now I would have switched out to another launcher. Usually I'll use oh man, I cannot remember. Yes, Nova Launcher, or maybe even just the default Google Home Launcher, if they call it that. But no, I haven't switched out to any other launchers yet. I'm still using the stock Samsung software, and I'm pretty happy with it. I just really I don't have much to complain about. Now, what I will complain about is, well, a few things. First off, the Bixby thing, I am giving it a try. I did remap it for a little while to be Google Now, but that's really pointless because you can reach Google Now by simply swiping up or pushing and holding on the home button. So it was just a way to just get it out of the way, kind of. But Bixby itself does need some work. I mean, it doesn't really do much for me. I know HTC had a kind of a sidebar thing too, where if you swipe over enough, you get all your news and Google Maps, well, not even Google Maps, just the maps, weather and all that kind of stuff. That's fine, but it's just redundant. Okay, Google Now does all of that. And there's just really, I don't see a need for the Bixby launcher at all. And with things that I don't really need, the Edge screen is nice, feels good in the hand. However, the Edge skins or apps or whatever they want to call them, I also feel is kind of gimmicky. I don't really need that ever. I haven't used any of them to date so far at all. Yes, you can swipe across and you get your shortcuts. You can swipe again, you get contacts. You can add in extra things so you can get like weather and news and all that in your side Edge screen. But again, I have no need for that. Maybe there is some people who is actually using those things. If you are, sound off in the comments down below, because to me, it seems almost identical to the top screen on the LG V10. You know that second screen that you never use unless the phone was off? That's it. I mean, and only in certain situations, very particular situations, will I actually need any of these extra features. For the most part, they're just useless. Nice that I have them and I can tell people about it, such as yourself here on this video, but that's it. That's pretty much it. I don't even use these things in my day-to-day basis. The software is quick. This phone packs a lot of power. It's pretty much overkill for what most people do on their phones every day. You have a ton of memory, CPU, Snapdragon 835. You have 64 gigs of internal memory, 4 gigs of actual memory that you're using for your applications. Yeah, and I even have my 200 gig SD card that I got with my LG V10 that's inside here as well. So in short, I'm never running out of space in pretty much ever when it comes to this phone. And the 4 gigs of memory, I'm never touching on either. As far as games and all that it goes, now the 7.0 Nougat has not been the friendliest when it comes to games. Most games work okay and they work fine, but there's been some performance issues. That's not the fault of the S8. It's the fault of the actual developers for the game just not catching up. I'm not exactly sure what's going on. I have a particular game I used to play all the time called Blaze Blue, but it crashes all the time now. And the developer, I've been going back and forth in emails a little bit. and I just gave up because apparently, I don't know, I guess people just don't care, or they just have better things to do than trying to compensate for everything that's going on. It could honestly be the Samsung software as well that's causing my issues in certain games. But I'm not sure of that just yet. So that's something to look out for. I'm not sure if it's the phone software or if it's the Android based Nougat software that's causing the weird issues I'm seeing when it comes to games and things crashing all the time. I do have other applications that sometimes crash. It doesn't happen often at all, but it does happen. Speaking of which, when I first got this phone, within a week, the phone froze on me twice. Now, I had to take this phone back. This is my second S8 phone. Now, I haven't had any issues with it since I replaced it. However, it is something that's very concerning to me. Other people have had other issues as well, but for me personally, my first phone, the first time I actually picked it up, walked out of the store with it, it was freezing on me. And the first time it froze on me was actually in the middle of Walmart. Very frustrating for that to happen when people are maybe asking you questions, you want to look up on your phone, you pull your phone out your pocket and it doesn't even turn on. The screen just stays black. And the fact that it doesn't have an accessible battery is where another concern comes in. Well, I'm used to all that on the LG V10. You can pop off and take the battery out, put it back in, usually fixes most freezing issues that it would have, except for when it starts rebooting itself. I'm not gonna go back into that again. But yeah, that was very frustrating and that did happen. So I would definitely just say that just because you have a top of the line phone, S8 is recommended as like one of the best phones out right now, still have problems, still have freezing and all that. Sucks. That's all I can really say about it. But other than that, it has been a very good experience and a very fast experience running through the software, running through the applications, and just the fastest phone I've ever owned. I just can't complain about it. However, like I said, be prepared to have some weird issues. All right, let's wrap this up. As far as I'm concerned, overall, despite, like I just said, my previous issues with the software, it forced me to have to actually return the phone once. This is the best phone I've had to date as far as Android is concerned. It is definitely better than my LG V10, even when it comes to pictures and video. Usability and friendliness, as far as, I have to get that to the LG V10 because you can access the battery. You can have, this phone to me is even more durable, it's more rugged. I've never had a single problem with drops or stuff like that. When I pick up the phone, it's heavy. It feels, I just have confidence that this thing is gonna last me forever. Not so much with this guy. It's more of a pretty dude, and yeah, I don't feel that confident that this will last me forever. I feel like if I drop this one time without a case, we're done here. For this, no. So I have to give it the LG V10 as far as that concerned. However, the LG V10 is ugly compared to the S8. That's just the long and short of it. It's built rugged, but it came at a cost. Really? In the middle of my video? That's all right though. As far as everything else is concerned, the LG V10 loses in pretty much every way. Speed, power, but one thing the LG V10 might win at, depending on your use, is the battery. The battery is decent in this phone. However, it can run out pretty quickly, especially when I'm really on it, watching videos, doing my day-to-day tasks and all that. It can run out pretty quickly, but it's kind of hard to say that it's worse than the LG V10. As you guys know in my last video, the LG V10, my God, I really need to silence this. Take care of that. In my last video, the LG V10, I told you guys my battery life sucked balls. So it wasn't that great, but I can't really say the S8 is that much better as far as I'm concerned. The standby time is good. It doesn't lose much battery at night. I do like the fact that the Bluetooth is fast. It is much faster than my LG V10. That's another thing. So like I said, in almost every way, going from your LG V10 to an S8 is an upgrade. And that's pretty much where I'm going to leave it. Now, would I say that is the best phone out there right now? For me, it's the best phone. And I said the same thing about the V10 back in another video. So for me, this phone is the best. However, there's always better phones. It depends on how you use it. So you guys have a good one. I hope to see you guys in another video. Hopefully not waiting for it as long as you did this one. You have a good one. I see you. Bye.